Okay. We will begin this yoga practice laying on our backs. So start with your knees bent. Allow the heaviness of the bones to settle. Ground you down. Connect to the earth. If it's comfortable to extend the heels away from the crown, you can do that. If that causes discomfort in your lower back, just keep your knees bent, feet wide, and let the knees fall together. So the low back is supported, but the legs can relax. And become aware of your breath. Observe the quality of the breath before your practice. Notice if your chest feels tight or open. If the breath is short or long. If the inhales or the exhales bear more weight. And take a moment to intentionally deepen your breath. As you inhale, allow the breath to extend all the way down into the bottoms of your feet and the tips of your toes. And as you exhale, completely soften back and spread wide across the floor. Have a few more deep, long breaths, just like that. Breathing the awareness down into the body as you inhale. And as you exhale, completely connect to that universal blueprint. Stack your bones and joints in the back body plane. Remembering this sensation in all of our poses, allowing the skeletal system to support us. And then we'll do a quick scan through the physical body from the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. Inhale and pull the awareness up through the legs, to the hips, the pelvis, the low back. Remembering that this is your practice, your time to connect to your body. So if something feels uncomfortable, you are always allowed to move and make adjustments. Then breathe your awareness into any areas that feel tight and sore and stuck. As you inhale, open and expand. As you exhale, soften, release, let go. Next inhale pulls the awareness up the torso, into the shoulders, the neck, and the face. Once again, just noticing where in your upper body you're holding tension today. And use the breath to bring your awareness into those areas. As you inhale deeply, create space, invite fresh blood and oxygen to flow through. And as you exhale completely, continue the conversation of consciously asking your body to soften, release, and let go. Lastly, bring your awareness into your mind and observe where your thoughts are at. Notice the speed at which they move through you. And then take a big step back from identifying as the thoughts. Begin to just witness their passing. through the mind like clouds through the sky, without getting attached or carried away, without judging yourself for what you're thinking about, but beginning to notice the habits and patterns in the way your mind turns and in the way you speak to yourself. And then bring the awareness back and anchor it fully on your breath. Have a few more deep, long breaths here. Breathing the awareness down into the bottoms of your feet and the tips of your toes. And exhaling into the support of the ground beneath you. Allowing the earth to act as a prop. And gathering information about the tendencies in your body, specifically in the legs today. Notice if one leg tends to roll out more than the other, resting on the outside of the calf and the heel. That lets you know that that hip has more external rotation naturally. And then you want to breathe your awareness into your other hip and consciously ask it to soften more deeply, using the breath to create balance and evenness from the inside out throughout the practice. And we'll just take a moment to stretch our leg, laying on our back. So you can draw your right knee into your chest, interlace the hand behind the right thigh, and extend your right heel up towards the ceiling. The left leg is still extended out along the mat, but instead of letting it fall out like it does naturally, left toes flexed and active, pointing straight up. Left inner thigh grounding down. Press through both heels and the balls of both feet. Feel how each action at the foot has an effect on the engagement of the leg. And press the right leg into the hands to lengthen the lower back. And then begin to draw the leg more actively towards yourself. Maintaining all of these actions. Maybe you can slide your hand up the leg to the calf. Specifically, most importantly, thigh bones grounding down. The whole midline of the left leg clinging to the floor, and your right thigh bone pressing away from the crown of the head so there's balance and evenness in the grounding of the sacrum and the lower back. Have 5 deep, long breaths. Breathe into those places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale completely, soften, release, and let go. Good. And once you've had 5 breaths, you can just exhale and release the right leg to the mat. Shimmy out the hips a little bit. Feel the different sensations and the different sides of your body. And then lift the left leg. Interlace the hand behind the left thigh. Press through both heels to lengthen the back of the legs. Press through the balls of the feet to draw the calves in towards the bones. The whole midline of the right leg presses down firmly, right toes flexed and active, pointing up. And press the left leg into the hands to lengthen the lower back. Ground the sacrum evenly on both sides. And then begin to draw the leg more actively towards yourself. Maybe you can slide the hands up towards the calf. Remembering that you cannot root your thigh bone down enough. 5 deep, long breaths. Breathing into those places that feel tight and sore and stuck. And as you exhale completely, soften more deeply into the stretch. Once you've had those 5 breaths, release the leg to the mat. Shimmy out the hips a little bit. Draw your knees into your chest. Rock gently from side to side. Massage your low back. And with an exhale, roll to the right side. Press down to lift up. Come to a comfortable seated position. Keep your eyes closed for another moment. Look for that same alignment we created laying on our backs. Build it from the foundation up. So inner, rotate the thigh bones and move the flesh of the buttocks out. If the pelvis is still tipped backwards after you make that adjustment, sit up on a block, a blanket, a pillow, anything that gives you a little height so the pelvis can really ground down. Whatever part of our body is on the ground becomes our foundation. And we press firmly down, in this case, into the sits bones to inhale, lift, and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. And as you exhale completely, soften the shoulders together, down, and into the back body. Chin parallel to the earth, slide the jawbone back. Stack the vertebrae. Good. And so we have been talking for the past week about what values we place at the foundation of our practice, of why we show up, remembering that the practice becomes a metaphor for how we view everything in our lives in general. And last week we were really talking about placing like discipline, structure, and routine at the foundation, and how that regularity creates a stability and comfort for the body and mind. And then I went camping and I realized that there was a little part of the puzzle that I was missing. All of our routines are great and we can create them and make them whatever we want. But there's something like deeply grounding when we begin to link our routines to the cycles, the seasons, the elements of nature, right? So we are a part of nature. Despite what you heard, we are not actually separate from it. And there's built-in aspects of our bodies that respond to these rhythms in and of nature. And as we allow our routines to deepen and as we connect them to nature, they can move beyond being just routines and move into a space of ritual. And then, so they become not mundane, but sacred, and not just comforting, but essential to making meaning in our lives, which is really what we do as human beings, both individually and collectively. As we connect deeply to the element of the earth, we're able to put our awareness there. Just like we practice placing our awareness in different parts of our body during our yoga practice, and then maintaining many awarenesses at once, We begin in the physical body with the yoga practice, but then it expands outward. We are able to place our awareness into the earth around us and to both feel all the pain that is held there, but also to connect to all of the wisdom about what we need to do and how we can choose to live more connected and sustainable lives. So we're getting into and connecting to the element of earth today. With an inhale, you can reach your arms up and overhead. And exhale through the mouth with sound, release. Good. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, stretch past the skin and fingertips. And exhale, let it all go. Once more. Inhale deeply. And exhale completely. And then we'll inhale to prepare for the sound of Om, which is a ritual that we use in this practice to clear the space. So the vibrations shake up and clear out the places where the energy is getting stuck within us. It also clears out the space within the room, around and between us when we're with others. So inhale deeply. Pause in the silence that follows the sound and observe how the vibrations resonate through the body, specifically where sound may get stuck, where the body constricts. And just like we can go into the awareness of the earth, we can go into the awareness of these blockages in the body and ask questions and be in communication with them, opening up to receive the answers. Like our body holds so much information. We'll take a moment to connect more deeply to the breath. And we will practice a pranayama where we intentionally lengthen our exhales. So it begins with Samavritti, same fluctuation. Inhale and exhale to my 4 count. And then as we exhale, we'll slowly lengthen the exhale. The exhale is the aspect of the breath that calms, soothes, settles, grounds us down. Understanding the qualities and the power and having control over the breath helps us regulate our heart rate, our awareness, the speed of our thoughts through our minds. So press down through both sits bones and inhale deeply through the nose. Lift and lengthen through the crown. Exhale completely. Soften the shoulders down. Close the eyes. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale as slowly as you can. Pausing at the bottom of the breath to observe the effects of the pranayama on the energy of your body. And then return to the normal breath. With an inhale, you can gently open your eyes. And we're going to take the soles of the feet together. Kethalu, you are just in the way. Excuse me. So beginning by pressing all 10 toes together and opening up through the arch of your foot. As the feet press together, press the knees away from each other. And you can scoot in towards the heels any amount. Feet press together, knees press away from each other. Sits bones ground down. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Have 5 deep, long breaths. Really feeling how this work activates the arch of your foot. Remembering how important the arch of the foot is because it's the first diaphragm in the body. It supports the inner arch, supports the whole inner leg, all the way up to the pelvic floor, which is supporting our organs. So when the arch drops, the organs drop, and everything in the body becomes heavy and harder to hold. You might notice that one hip is tighter than the other. Remember to send your breath there, consciously asking the body to soften. Once you've had those 5 breaths with an exhale, you can take your legs wide. Not as wide as you can go, but maybe just like a 90-degree angle. Toes flexed and active, pointing up. Press the whole midline of the right leg, or both legs, firmly towards the floor. You may be able to press down so hard with the thigh bones that the heels lift up. So the quadriceps are fully engaged. We don't want the feet to roll out. That means your pelvis is tipping back. You've got to lift from the base of the spine. We don't want the pelvis to dip forward and the feet to roll in. That means frontal hip bones lift away from the thigh bones. With the quadriceps engaged, press through the heels, soften the calves, and bring the whole midline of both legs firmly towards the floor. From that grounding, lift and lengthen through the crown and the tips of the ears, 5 breaths. Noticing how much freaking work this is, and remembering that this is the level of engagement that we are looking for in the legs in all of our poses. So the activation and alignment of the legs supports the low back. And if we're not strong and aligned in our legs, our low back is going to suffer. Then exhale the soles of the feet together again. Scoot in towards your heels. And you're opening, this time you're pressing the pinky toe side of the foot together and you're opening up through the top of the foot. And eventually we want to be able to do that without using our hands, but sometimes we have to train our body to begin. So as the pinky toes press together, the big toes and the knees draw away from each other. Still, both sits bones ground, lift and lengthen through the heart and crown, keeping our awareness in all of these places at once. And you might observe that when you release that pressure of the big toe pressing together, the legs open more deeply. It allows the thigh bone to come out of the hip socket all the way up the leg. Have 5 deep, long breaths. Trying to maintain that pressure on the pinky toe side, that openness through the big toes and knees, the grounding down through both sits bones that allows you to lengthen the spine and find stillness. That is where I'm like never able to be, but that's what we're looking for. All of this effort and stillness on the surface. Once you've had 5 breaths, you can, one more time, exhale and release. Spread the legs a little bit wider. And then same thing. Fingertips ground by the hips. Press the thigh bones down to lift the heels, maybe quadriceps engaged. As you exhale, press out through the heels. Soften the calves. The whole midline of both legs grounds firmly. Eventually, no light will shine through. The outer edge of the feet are perpendicular to the floor. The sits bones are evenly grounded, and we lift and lengthen through the spine. 5 deep, long breaths. Noticing if one leg wants to give up first. And with each breath, renew your effort. Noticing that it's more difficult to engage the muscles the farther we spread the legs apart. So all of this is just gathering information about what's happening in the body. And once you have had those 5 deep, long breaths, you can release and make your way onto your hands and knees. The hands become part of your foundation here, so spread the fingers wide, ground down through all the knuckle mounts. The shoulders are over the wrists, the hips are over the knees, and as you inhale, drop the abdomen, arch the back, gaze up. As you exhale, press down and curl your spine to the ceiling. Continue at your own pace. Sync the motions of your body with the breath. Use the breath to deepen the motions of your body. Allow that synchronicity to bring you fully and completely into the present moment. And move in any way that feels good to you. Allowing the mind to connect and receive the wisdom of your body. And when you're ready, tuck your toes, lift your hips high, press back, downward facing dog. Feel free to pedal your feet, sway your hips, move in any way that feels good to you here. And then find some stillness. Make sure that the feet and hands are evenly grounded with each other, like hands with each other, feet with each other. Turn the outer edge of the feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. And from that grounding, inhale, lift and spread the fingers and toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. If the hips are tight and the low back is rounded, work with a slight bend in the knees. Bend the knees wide so they stay tracked right over the ankles. And this also works for hyperextension. Inhale, lift the hips high, lifting from the back of the knees to the sits bones. And as you exhale, press the thigh bones back. Press from the back of the knees down through the heels. Allow your head to hang heavy for 3 more deep, long breaths. And then inhale, fold forward into that plank pose. Hips at the height of the shoulders, so that takes your thigh bones back. And then root the tailbone down towards the heels, engaging the muscles in the legs. The abdomen and the back of the ribs lift to meet the shoulder blades and spine. Roll the shoulders down the back and extend the crown forward. With your next exhale, lower. Knees, chest, chin to the floor. Press the tops of the feet down. And inhale, lift the heart. Roll the shoulders back. Everything on at the foundation presses firmly down to lift and lengthen through your heart and crown. And each action at the foundation has an energetic effect on the body. I really am enjoying pressing through your pinky toenail here and feeling the spread across the sacrum. Have one more breath. And exhale, seat to heels, press back, child's pose. Allow the weight of the hips to settle energetically towards your heels. And from that grounding in the lower body, even if the hips don't touch the heels, but energetically, inhale and breathe length and space into each vertebrae in the spine. Exhale. Soften more deeply into the stretch. Have 3 more deep, long breaths here. Inhale, expanding out. Exhale, softening in. And then inhale, rise, gaze up, arch the back. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips high. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. And return your awareness to the foundation. Remembering that if the low back is tight, we can bend the knees and use that as leverage to get that V shape in the body. As you inhale, lift and spread your fingers and toes. And feel how as you press down through the big toe mound, it lifts the arch and the inner ankle. Maintain that as you lower the toes to the floor. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Pressing down with the 4 corners of the hands and feet energetically to lift the abdomen and the hips high. Thigh bones back in all the shapes to create space in the lower back and align the pelvis. Head heavy, 3 more breaths. And with an inhale, begin to walk your feet forward to meet your hands. Come into that standing forward bend at the top of your mat. Feel free to bend the knees and let the abdomen come towards the thighs if that feels good to you. Let the head hang heavy, shake it out, yes and no. Grab opposite elbows and sway. Move in any way that feels good to you to release tension from the back, the shoulders, and the neck. Let it all drain out through the crown of the head. With an inhale, return to center. And exhale, release the arms down. Bring the hands onto the hips. Draw the elbows together on the back. Root the tailbone down. And inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown of the head to come to stand. Exhale, release your hands down by your sides. And we'll take a moment to just check in with the alignment in Tadasana, mountain pose. Another template shape for the body. So we have to turn the feet to face forward. When the feet are out, the thigh bone is out of the hip socket, and we cannot align the pelvis or any part of the body. So with the feet facing forward, outer edge of your feet parallel with outer edge of the mat, lift and spread your toes, press through the big toe mound, Feel the arch lift. As you lower the toes to the mat, maintain that engagement in the feet and legs that lifts the arch. Then stick your booty out behind you. Bring the center of your hips over the knees and ankles. And with the thigh bones back like that, draw the center of the buttocks into the midline to root the tailbone down. Feel the energy from the hips, extend down the legs and connect to the earth. That grounding of the lower body gives you the leverage to inhale, lift, and lengthen through the crown of the head and the tips of the ears. Roll the shoulders, roll the palms to face forward and feel the shoulders roll back. Look for that stacking of the bones and joints in the back body plane in all your poses. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, press the thigh bones back as you draw the crown forward. And exhale, fold more deeply. Again, a few more times like that, pulsating. Inhale, the thigh bones press back. And even if the knees are bent, we're lifting from the back of the knees up to the sits bones and pressing down from the back of the knees to the heels. And then fold more deeply. 3 more times at your own pace. Just feeling and finding this pulsation and looking for new awareness of the engagement in the legs. The energy moves in opposite directions from all of the joints. And specifically, if your knees hyperextend like mine, this information about lifting up as you're pressing down can be very useful. Last time, inhale, gaze forward, lengthen, and exhale, right leg steps back. Lower your right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Hug your legs towards each other like scissors. Root the tailbone down and take the center of the buttocks forward, just like we just did in mountain pose. Then grab the right wrist with the left hand and exhale it up and over to the left side for 3 breaths. Looking for that stretch all the way through the back quad, hip flexor, psoas, side body and sides of the neck. And with an inhale, return to center. Exhale, release your hands to the mat and step back, downward facing dog. Always an option to stay here or to inhale and float forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower. Feel free to use the knees to support the spine. Inhale, lift the heart, shoulders back. Exhale, lift the hips. Downward facing dog, return to your breath. Inhale, lift the right leg high. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Press that left thigh bone back. Create balance and evenness in the pelvis. Breathe it into the spine. With your next exhale, step the right foot forward. Lower the left knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hug your legs energetically towards each other. Feel how it lifts you up out of the pose a little bit, engaging those inner thigh and pelvic floor muscles. Root your tailbone down, and then take the whole center of the buttocks forward. Grab the left wrist with the right hand, and exhale it up and over to the right side for 3 breaths. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, step the back foot forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold more deeply. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Check back in with your foundation and the tendencies of your body. Does one foot go forward and turn out more than the other? Every time we return to Tadasana, check back in. Press from the tailbone through the heels and inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step the left leg back this time. Keep the back knee lifted. Stack the front knee right over the front ankle. And inhale, pull the legs towards each other. Bring the hips to face forward. Engage the inner thigh and pelvic floor muscles. Keep that compaction at the center as you then extend out. Next, inhale, lift your right arm up. Lean into the back body to stack the shoulders and open the heart. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Exhale, release. Step back, downward facing dog. Always welcome to stay here or to inhale and float forward into plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees or chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, lift the heart, pinky toenails press down. Exhale, lift the hips. Return to the breath. Inhale, left leg high. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Press out through both heels. Press your right thigh bone back. Draw the abdomen towards the spine and stretch the whole body long. Next, exhale, steps the left foot through between the hands. Stack that left knee over the left knee over the left ankle. And inhale and pull the legs towards each other. Engaging that back thigh, the thigh bone always lifts up in our lunges, presses back in direction. And then extend through the heel and the crown of the head. With your next inhale, lift your left arm up. Press out through the palms to roll the shoulders back. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. And with an exhale, release. Inhale, step the back foot forward, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold more deeply. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Tadasana, mountain pose. Check back in. And we'll do another type of sun salutation. And this is part of our ritual, connecting our practice daily to the cycles and the seasons of the earth. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank pose. And find that lift of the thigh bones, the rooting down of the tailbone, the strength in the legs as you exhale and lower. Inhale, lift the heart. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Return to your breath. As you inhale, lift and spread your fingers and toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. Feel how that lifting and spreading begins to engage the muscles in the hands and feet, the ankles, the forearms and shins. It initiates this action of inhale and lift the abdomen, lift the hips high, drawing the energy in and up from the floor to the core. As you exhale, press your thigh bones up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. Ground from the back of the knees through the heels. Lift from the back of the knees to the sits bones. One more big breath. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump your feet to meet your hands. Lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold deeply into your legs. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Tadasana. Check back in with the alignment in the feet, the engagement in the legs. Notice how the weight is distributed at the base. If the weight has gone into the toes more, take your thigh bones back. Press from the tailbone through the heels and inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen your spine. Exhale, ground the palms, step or jump back to plank. Find that lift from the underside of the pose, an extension through the heels and the crown of the head. Maintain that as you exhale and lower. Feel free to use the knees for support. Inhale, lift your heart, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, lift your hips, press back, downward facing dog. Return to your breath. The breath provides everything that we need, connecting us to all sentient beings, past, present, and future. We're literally breathing the trees in and out, and we're able to draw up the qualities of the earth, the strength, the steadiness, the stability. As you inhale, pull from the fingers and toes into the center of the body. And as you exhale, extend out that same strength, steadiness, and stability that we learn to embody through our connection to the earth. With an inhale, gaze forward, step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Lengthen through the spine, and exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, come to stand. Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Good. The next inhale, my earring is all caught up. Inhale, arms reach up, drop your seat, chair pose. Thigh bones back, your booty out to get low. Draw the center of the buttocks into the midline to lift up. 5 breaths. With an exhale, gaze towards the floor, shift the weight onto the right foot and step the left leg back. Warrior 1. Exhale, open to the side, warrior 2. Deep bend in the front knee, stacked right over the front ankle. Back thigh bone presses back, it's in line with the knee and ankle of the back leg. It inner rotates slightly, thigh bone into the hip socket. And then as both thigh bones press back, the hips fully open, tailbone roots down between the sits bones. Gaze over the front fingertips, 5 breaths. And exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat, step back. Move through a vinyasa or come to downward facing dog. Your choice. Whatever choice you make, keep your awareness with your breath. Maybe there's a child's pose in here. Remembering that this is your practice, your time and your space to connect with your body and honor it through the choices you make. Have 3 more deep, long breaths. Pressing down into the earth to lift up. Pulling in and up from the floor to the core to shine out. With an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet the hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. Again, inhale, arms reach up, drop the seat, chair. Thigh bones back, booty out, get you low. Rooting the tailbone down to lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown. 5 breaths. Shift the gaze down and the weight to the left foot. Exhale the right leg back for warrior 1. Deep bend in the front knee. That inner rotation of the back thigh. Root the tailbone down to lift the torso. Oh, warrior 2. Never mind, change my mind. Deep bend in the front knee. Inner rotate the back thigh and press both thigh bones back. Allow the tailbone to settle right between the sits bones. Frontal hip bone lifts, 5 breaths. And exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat, step back. Move through a vinyasa. Or come to downward dog or child's pose. Wherever you're working, return your awareness to your breath. Cultivate that balance and evenness in the breath that brings balance and evenness to the heart rate and the speed of the thoughts through your mind. Good, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. And with an inhale, gaze forward. Step or jump the feet to meet your hands. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, drop the seat, arms reach up, chair pose. Exhale, stand tall. Tadasana, mountain pose. Good work. Just checking in on the time. Okay. Let's hands on the hips. Step the left leg back. Both legs are going to be straight here, but the back foot is turned out slightly. We're still energetically like scissoring these legs towards each other so that the hips come to face forward. There's that inner rotation of the back thigh. And then from the back of the knee, the heel turns and presses down. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out. Ground them down. The big toe mound on your front foot is your anchor. The back heel and the back edge of the back foot is your anchor. Root the tailbone down and inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at your hips. Press both thigh bones back to lengthen the lower back. Keep the muscles of the legs hugged into the bones. And go only as far as you can go without losing that. Maybe your hands stay on your hips. Maybe they come to touch the floor outside your front foot. I'm gonna do 5 breaths. And inhale, rise. Take a slight bend in your front knee. You can keep your hands on your hips or your hands on the floor if that feels better to you. Inhale, we're gonna fly forward, warrior 3 or standing split. Press through both heels and the balls of both feet. Lift from the inner thigh in the center of the heel. Standing thigh bone presses back. Lift your abdomen. It's hard. And have 5 breaths. And inhale, rise. You can bring that left knee into the chest. And exhale, release it down to the mat. Oh, that one was tough for me. Hands on your hips.
Step your right leg back. It's a pretty long stance. The back foot is turned out at like a 45 to 75 degree angle. The back thigh inner rotates. Legs hug towards each other energetically, but it's towards each other like scissors. There's still a widening and a spaciousness on the inside of the pelvis. Lift and spread your toes. Stretch them out, ground them down. Front big toe anchors the front leg. Back edge of the heel anchors the back leg. As you exhale, press the thigh bones back. Lengthen the heart forward. Go only as far as you can go without losing the engagement of the legs and the alignment in the hips. And have 5 breaths. You can keep your hands on your hips or you can lower them to the mat. Inhale, lift the gaze in the chest. Exhale, deep bend in the slight bend in the front knee. Feel free to keep the hands on the waist or to lower the fingertips to the floor. Inhale, come forward onto that straight front leg. Press through both heels. Standing thigh bone back. Lift from the inner heel in the center, the inner thigh in the center of the heel. 5 breaths. Yeah. And then with an inhale, rise the right knee into the chest. Exhale, release it down to the mat. Ah, good. Take your feet wide. Outer edge of the feet parallel with outer edge of the mat. Turn the left foot in slightly. Right foot out all the way. Back thigh bone back in line with the knee and ankle. Arms parallel to the earth. Inhale, lift and spread the toes. Draw that energy in and up the legs. Exhale, keep that drawing up as you press out through the 4 corners of both feet. Next exhale, you're widening the back of your thigh back. Cut the front thigh bone back. Stretch your side bodies long and come down into your triangle pose. Scan your body from the ground up. Lift and spread the toes. Press through the big toe mound to lift the arch. From the back of the knees, lift to the sits bones. From the back of the knees, press through the heels. Front thigh bone towards the back thigh bone and buttock into the midline of the body. 5 breaths. Draw up the qualities of the earth when the practice gets hard. Inhale, rise. Exhale, deep bend in the front knee. You can place your elbow on your knee or your fingertips on the floor behind your foot. Either way, that back thigh bone is back in line with the knee and ankle. The tailbone roots down towards the back heel. Front knee stacks over the ankle. Thigh bone comes parallel to the floor. Reach your arm over your ear. Hug the front butt cheek into the midline of the body. Have 5 deep, long breaths. Stretching in opposite directions from the sacrum, the triangular bone at the base of your spine, to make space on the inside. And with an inhale, rise. Turn, straighten the front leg. Turn both feet parallel with the back edge of the mat. Press down from the tailbone through the heels. Inhale, lift the abdomen. Exhale, fold deeply. Bring the hands to the floor. You can place them under your shoulders, or you can walk them back between the feet. Either way, press into the hands to lift the shoulders and let the head hang heavy. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Slight bend in your knees, and from the back of the knees, lift up to the sits bones. From the back of the knees, press down through the heels.
5 breaths. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Bring the hands onto the hips, ground down to lift up with your next inhale, rise. Right foot turns in slightly. Left foot turns out all the way. Both legs are straight. Back thigh bone back in line with the knee and ankle of the back leg. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. As you exhale, widen the back hip back, cut the front thigh bone back, shift the whole pelvis so the side bodies stay long. As you stretch down into your triangle pose, and then scan the body from the ground up. Reconnect to the arch by pressing through the big toe mounds. From the back of the knees, lifting up to the sits bones. From the back of the knees, pressing down through the heels. That front thigh bone cutting back and the buttock hugging into the midline of the body. 5 breaths. Notice if you sink into the joints. Notice if you give up. Renew your efforts. Draw from the strength, the stability, the steadiness of the earth. Inhale, rise. Exhale, deep bend in the front knee. Elbow to the knee or fingertips to the floor behind your leg. Your back thigh bone presses back, and from the tailbone, press down through the back heel and the back edge of the back foot. Front knee stacks over the ankle. Thigh bone parallel to the floor. Buttock into the midline of the body as you reach the arm over your ear. Stretching in opposite directions from the sacrum to make space inside. 5 breaths. And inhale, rise. Straighten your front leg. Turn both feet parallel with the outer edge of the mat. Hands on the hips. Thigh bones back. Root your tailbone down. Inhale, lift the abdomen, the heart, the crown. Exhale, fold forward. Have a few breaths here. Let your head hang heavy. Lift and spread your toes, stretch them out, ground them down. Notice if your ankle tends to drop in, and lift it up, center it over your foot. From the back of the knees, lift up and inhale, lift the abdomen. Keep the left hand grounded. Right hand comes onto the sacrum. Maintaining balance and evenness in the pelvis by widening the left inner thigh to the left to act as a stabilizing force. Inhale, lift the abdomen, lift the right arm up. Press through your palms to roll your shoulders together down and into your back. 5 breaths. And exhale. Head hangs heavy. Inhale, gaze forward, lengthen. Round the right hand under your face, left hand on the sacrum. Widen that right inner thigh to the right to stabilize the pelvis. Lift the frontal hip bones, lift the abdomen, and lift the left arm up. Press out through your palms to roll the shoulders together down and into the back. Have 5 deep, long breaths. And exhale, release. Inhale, gaze forward, get length. Exhale, step or jump the feet together. Fold deeply. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, come to stand.
Exhale, release your arms down by your sides. Good. We'll come back to the top of our mats. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, ground your palms, separate jump back. Feel free to move through a vinyasa, come to down dog, or child's pose. Wherever you find yourself, return your awareness to your breath and check back in with the quality of your breath, the tension in your body, the speed of your thoughts through your mind at this point in your practice. And we're going to take a moment to stretch out the feet and legs after all that work there. So if you're in down dog, you can lower onto your knees. We're going to match the calves. I don't know about you, but my calves are feeling super tight after that. So you're going to cross your left ankle behind your right knee and sit back on it. Then you're swaying from side to side, rolling over the calf with the ankle to drain the tension out through the bottom of the foot. And it might be really intense the first time you do it. You can control the intensity by how much weight you place on your ankle. You're moving from side to side, and you're moving down the leg. It's draining the tension out. Good. And once you've done that on one side, you are welcome to switch sides. Beware of the tendency for the base legs foot to go in. You want to keep it straight back, and you want to try to grab from the outer calf and pull it in, because it really does the inside better than the outside. And then you're swaying from side to side and shifting the foot back, draining all the tension out of the calf. And if you have ankle or knee problems, this exercise is really important, because if the calf muscles are tight, we cannot realign the joints around them. And if it's really intense for you, you might want to do it more regularly. Good. And then we will tuck the toes under and sit back on the heels. So you are tucking the toes, making sure that even your pinky toe gets tucked. And the knees are together. The heels hug energetically towards each other. So it's one sit bone on each heel. If for some reason it's not intense enough for you, you can pull the knees back towards the heels. Bring your right arm out in front. Wrap your left arm around. Lift your upper arms parallel to the earth. Roll the shoulders down the back as you press the forearms away from the face. Have 5 breaths. Keep hugging the heels in. Keep the abdomen drawn back to stack your bones and joints. Allow the weight of the body to stretch the arch of the foot. And with an exhale, release. Recommit and reconnect. Hug your heels together. Make sure your pinky toes are tucked under. Bring your left arm out in front. Wrap your right arm around. Lift the upper arms parallel to the earth. Press the forearms away from the face as you roll the shoulders down the back. Have 5 breaths. Looking for that stacking of the bones and joints. Tailbone rooted. Crown of the head and tips of the ears lifting up. Exhale, release. Good. We'll come forward onto our abdomen to stretch out the quads. So you're gonna rise into a Sphinx shape, elbows under the shoulders, chest lifted. Turn your left arm in slightly for support. Bend your right leg. You're reaching for your right foot with your right hand. And without letting your knees splay out, the knees hug towards each other. They stay no wider than the hips. Pressing the foot down into the buttocks. Maybe your hand can spin around so the fingertips are in the same direction as the toes and the elbow lifts up. Either way, root your tailbone down towards your knee and your extended leg and lift the lower abdomen up. 5 breaths. You can stay here or you can straighten that front leg to deepen the stretch. Left shoulder draws back, right shoulder draws forward. Pinky toe presses down. Good, and with an exhale, release. Pause in this Sphinx pose. You can shimmy out the hips a little bit if that feels good to you. Press the whole top of the right foot and leg into the floor. Turn the right forearm in at a 45-degree angle. Bend the left knee. Grab the left foot with the left hand and you're pulling it in towards the buttocks. Maybe the fingertips spin around to face the same direction as the toes. The elbow lifts up. Maybe that doesn't happen today. You can still stretch your quad. Root your tailbone down towards your knee and extended leg. Lift your lower abdomen as you press the foot towards the outside of the buttocks. 5 breaths. If you did so on the other side, straighten your arm. And exhale, release. You can bring your hands onto your palms and just shimmy out the hips for a moment. And then roll onto your back. Draw the knees into the chest. Gently sway from side to side. Massage your low back. Hi, baby. And then rock forward and back. Coming up to balance on the pelvis, ground your fingertips behind you. Lift your shins parallel to the earth. Roll the shoulders together down into the back body. Stay here. Bring your hands up, straighten your legs, whatever variation feels appropriate to you. 5 breaths. And exhale the soles of the feet together. Press the sits bones down. Inhale, lift and lengthen through the crown. You can choose your own adventure about the engagement of the feet. And make sure that the pelvis is neutral. If your pelvis is tilted back here, your work is just to lift from the base of the spine up. If you feel like you have length and space in your lower back, maybe you want to play with folding forward. 5 breaths. Is it already 11:15?
Yes. It's level 18.
Already?
Yeah.
With an inhale, rise. Take the legs wide one more time. Feet flexed and active. Press down through the midline of the leg. And exhale, fold forward here. 5 breaths. Lift and Inhale, slowly rise. Bring the legs together, bend the knees, round the feet, and roll the spine back.
Coming to lay on your back for Shavasana. As always, feel free to take any final pose that your body is suggesting it would like. If there is discomfort in the lower back when you extend the legs out, keep your knees bent, feet wide, let the knees fall together. Palms rest facing up. Allow the breath to be so deep and so long that it touches down into the bottoms of the feet and the tips of the toes. And as you exhale completely, sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Allow any residual tension to leave the body with the breath through the fingertips. Allowing this practice to clear us out, connect us more deeply to ourselves, to the earth, to the process of healing, and to one another. I'm gonna leave you all here in Shavasana because Vivian is clearly ready for something else to happen. I really encourage you to spend 7 or 8 minutes here, allowing the body to reset. Bye.
Bye.